Today, Silksong is so fucking good, and I suck at it. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, and many happy returns to all of you who celebrate.
What?
What?
Are you for real? This is a video game news show, Beige.
I thought that commemorating the 1977 release of the Atari 2600 would qualify.
Not when it ended up being such a disaster.
Anyone hoping to experience the unrestrained firepower of Silksong's launch difficulty have about a week to bop on that nada. Team Cherry has responded to player feedback with a patch that, in addition to numerous fixes, will tweak the game's economy to make certain unlocks require fewer resources, reduce the difficulty of 2 early game bosses, and lower the damage from one enemy. Silksong has attracted criticism for its particularly punishing combat, with many gamers expressing disappointment that a long-awaited sequel to a beloved game is stomping 7 flavors of piss out of them. It's a real son of a bitch, folks. Hollow Knight's gameplay was surprisingly tight, demanding precision and care with its thoughtfully designed encounters, then rewarding players with environments that are alternately charming, majestic, and baleful. One could argue that Silksong comes by its complete motherfucker of a difficulty honestly, since it began development as downloadable content for Hollow Knight, where it would have flowed organically from challenging late-game encounters. Playing as Hornet also comes with its own set of expectations. The character was depicted in the early game as a virtuoso warrior, so should her game not reflect that virtuosity? Is it fun to get your ass kicked inside out? I'll let you know once I buy a replacement controller. When a game, or any task really, makes the transition from enjoyable challenge that promotes growth by rewarding perseverance to, bro, I just shattered a tooth crying, is a deeply personal matter. The discourse around difficulty is itself miserably punishing and barely worth engaging in, even as bait. Is Silksong's difficulty thematically appropriate? Probably. Are some of the boss runbacks a little long? Also, probably. Are my neighbors concerned about all the swearing? Again, probably. But consider they listen to terrible music. What's the takeaway? It seems to be, you can do anything you want to me for $20.
Great news for people who are fans of random companies pretending to be brands that you remember. Atari has released a new game. Adventure of Samsara is inspired by Atari Classic Adventure, now reimagined as a Metroidvania, which they released on September 4th, the same day as Silksong. But I hear it's got positive Steam reviews. How's it doing? 12 concurrent players. Ugh. But maybe things are going to go better for Acclaim, itself back from bankruptcy 20 years ago as a nostalgically recognizable shell to hide behind while publishing indie games. Acclaim announced their own slate of 9 upcoming titles in their own little direct, which also featured a world premiere stinger in front of a handful of equally brand new trailers. And aside, I think that Jeff Keighley might be cheapening that phrase. Anyhow, I sat down to watch the showcase and, well, I didn't. Graham did, though, and he said that it was weird that Acclaim's history as a console developer has apparently been forgotten because all 9 games were PC titles, and while some of them looked promising, if rough, the overall vibe of the showcase was exactly what you'd expect from a brand that's run by an advisory board comprised of 2 brand management executives and a professional wrestler who, Graham informs me, never drew a dime. But at least the new Acclaim isn't a crypto scam. We were pretty sure it was going to be a crypto scam.
There's a new Nintendo Direct coming at us this Friday, and rather than spend time speculating on the recent future, what say we dig into something more exciting? Nintendo legal news! First up, Nintendo took Switch modder Ryan Daly to court, and earlier this month reached a settlement. Actually, they reached a joint stipulation for entry of final judgment and permanent injunction. But if I say that multiple times, I'll run out of mouth. Daly operated the website moddedhardware.com and also sold circumvention devices such as the MIG Flash and MIG Dumper, as well as other mod chips. Daly also opted to act as his own counsel for this trial, so it should come as no surprise to you that he didn't make out so well. He's on the hook to pay Nintendo a $2 million US penalty, hand over the domain name moddedhardware.com, and has been directed to not create, quote, any successor websites, chat rooms, or other social media websites or apps to sell stuff that would break Nintendo's protection measures, or perform services to bypass security, or basically do anything involving something Nintendo owns, like its copyrights. And I should point out, yes, that seems harsh, but then again, part of Daly's defense was to assert in front of a judge a defense that consisted of arguments like Nintendo doesn't have standing to bring the suit, Nintendo's alleged copyrights are invalid, and Nintendo procured a contract with Daly through fraudulent means. This contract may refer to an agreement with Nintendo that Daly verbally agreed to and then signed in writing to stop selling the bypass devices back in 2014. Jesus, dude, you saw death on a big red horse coming at you a decade ago and you didn't take your chance to get out of the way? Now I get why you represented yourself. Second up, Nintendo reached a settlement with accessory maker Genki, because Genki showed off a really convincing mock-up of a Switch 2 at CES 1 week before Nintendo had even revealed the design to the public. The settlement is confidential, so we won't know how much money Genki has to cough up as punishment, but we do know that the settlement states that, quote, Genki represents and attests that it didn't obtain any unreleased Nintendo property or documents before the system's official reveal. Genki reps had said at CES that they weren't worried about Nintendo since they had never signed an NDA with Nintendo, but it's not clear where they did get the 3D mock-up of the Switch 2. Did they make it themselves, going off of leaks from insiders in the manufacturing industry? Did they buy one from someone who'd seen one on a factory floor and did up a CAD file from memory? Did they just guess a whole bunch of stuff and then say, yeah, that looks good, let's now manufacture a whole bunch of accessories based on that? It hardly matters now, since the settlement bars Genki from referencing Nintendo trademarks in their marketing. And their packaging has to make clear to consumers Genki's status as an unlicensed accessory manufacturer. And Genki can't even use the colors of the Switch 2 hardware when trying to attract a consumer's eye. And to that, I have a suggestion. Genki, if you're hurting for a brand identity to help you push your accessories now that you can't use the Switch 2's colors, might I suggest nothing at all?
This week saw the tragic passing of an internationally renowned public figure, revered by many for their grace and charisma, offering profound wisdom to those who would listen. I'm speaking, of course, about the racehorse who was categorically not fast enough, Haru Urara. Haru Urara died at the age of 29, which is pretty old for a horse, and she was taken by colic, a disease devastatingly annoying in human children, but lethal for horses. Fortunately, she was healthy for years beforehand and lived a peaceful life for over a decade at Matha Farms in Chiba Prefecture, where she had retired from being the slowest fast horse ever. Haru Urara competed in 113 races between 1998 and 2004 and did not win one of them. By 2003, the Japanese media had caught wind of the losing streak, and Haru Urara became something of a household name in Japan, eventually garnering international attention as well. Now, I know you're all champing at the bit to find out why CheckPoint is dabbling in equine eulogies, but don't get long in the face, because I promise not to beat this story to death, and if you all clip-clop after me for another few seconds, we will all drink deeply from the waters of relevance. Haru Urara was also a cast member of the popular mobile gacha game Uma Musume Pretty Derby, and in case you hadn't heard, since June of this year, you can train anthropomorphic racehorse girls on your phone to race faster. But not Haru Urara. She's just there to be a shining light for all the losers in the world, to let us all know not to give up and that competition offers its own reward, as long as you pay to open the loot box of competition. Also, to be clear, the real horse was not in the mobile game, but one of the pretty horse girls had the same name and represents the actual Haru Urara. Does that make sense?
Which part?
Haru Urara's in-game campaign in Pretty Derby includes one race that's nearly impossible to win, sort of as a nod to her real-life career, but if you do win, her reaction is super touching, because she's the patron saint of players who can't or won't get good, but will remain happy. And with an attitude like that, it's not surprising that Pretty Derby spawned a whole new host of fans for Haru Urara in this, the final summer of her life. Earlier this year, fans learned that they could buy the aging superstar horse some fancy ryegrass for a $40 donation, and then promptly broke the website handling the gift roughage. Fans eventually donated 3,410 kilograms of ryegrass, and she didn't eat all that, but she did hold prolonged eye contact with all the other horses she shared it with, and they were exceedingly grateful. Our condolences to all the staff at Matha Farms and fans of Haru Urara across the globe.
Good story. Good horse.
No, Beige, were you a fan of the game?
No, I hate horse racing and I can't stand gacha games.
You just like cute anime girls that are also animals?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming up, Battlefield 6 is getting a Battle Royale mode because, war. EA also promises that destruction will be everywhere, which I think is also EA soft launching their new corporate motto.
Fucking yes.
Yeah, 15th take, let's go. Haru Urara, not the hardest part of that story, just the fact that it was really long. Good job, Nelson. Yeah. Nelson, thankfully for me, opted to omit the fact that Haru Urara actually did win one race, but it wasn't a real race. It was like a
master's race. It was like doesn't count for like a gold medal or anything. It was a retirement race.
It was a race just for retired racehorses, and she won that.
What's funny about this too is that the reason why like the speculation from the trainers why the real life horse never won anything is because Haru Urara loved to run with her friends. Like she loved to run, but she loved to run beside other horses.
Oh, she wanted to be in the pack. She didn't want to win.
Yeah. Never wanted to move forward, never wanted to do whatever. So she was never really driven to be like, I got to make it first across the line. That's the speculation.
She had no competitive spirit.
Yeah. And so
she just liked doing the thing.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I like the idea that in retirement, she's like, this is great. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having a great time and like really enjoying being back in the race. And then like, whoops, I won. Like,
yeah. Oh, I was having so much fun, I lost track of myself. Mm-hmm. I read that story because people were like, I don't know, man. You were like...
I was tearing up last night. Like, every time I knew about this for a little while, but I was like, oh, shit, that poor horse. And then every time I read the story, I'm like, oh, God.
She lived to the age of... That's very old for a horse.
I didn't cry at my grandparents'
funeral.
I almost, like, I teared up a bit at my own wedding, but it's like, last night I was like, oh, my God, I'm in my 40s and this is doing some shit to me.
It didn't do shit to me.
Yeah. Maybe
Cold as ice, baby.
Maybe I should push a baby out of my loins and that'll change my whole emotional perspective.
I think that my emotional perspective was broken far before I had a child. But I do want to say big ups to Nelson, who wrote that great Haru Urara story.
Yeah.
Did a lot of research into horse stuff.
Normal horse stuff.
Normal horse things. And Graham, who wrote the story about Atari and Acclaim.
And Cameron then is the one who wrote the song, the Silksong story, which I completely agree with. That it's like, yeah, naturally this game should be tough, but also when I've had to fight a boss for the 15th time and I've had to do a run back to get there, and it's absolutely kicking my ass. I welcome this new patch.
You welcome the patch.
I don't think it's going to change anything in the part of the game that I'm currently in, except for the fact that I'm still in Act 1, and I don't know what that means, because I'm just like, if I'm in Act 1 and I've been through like 14, 15 hours of the game so far,
oh my God.
When does Act 2 start?
How big is this game?
I don't know.
Because no one's gotten that far, because it's so hard.
And they've had 6 or 7 years to work on it, so I'm like, they could have just been like, we could just spool out. Like, we could make this, the Hollow Knight map. The base game map was a certain size, apparently, but then all the DLC kept coming on over and over again with it, and I guess it got bigger over time, that they added on extra pieces, and I was just like, wow, okay, yeah. If it's the same size of game, then I expect to be playing this game for 40 or 50 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Mostly because, like I say, I suck at the boss fights.
How's Heather doing?
She is slightly behind me, I think, but not by much, but that's because...
Gaining every day.
She's, she started playing before me, because I thought that was only fair. She's the one waiting for it, but she's also opting to stream it personally. And so she only has a certain amount of time to play it.
I see.
Yeah. And so I'm like, she and I are neck and neck, and she's played it for less hours than I have. And I'm like, yeah,
Heather's real good at video games.
She's real good at video games.
One day I hope Penelope is as good at video games as Heather is.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because Heather's real good and Penelope's getting really good.
Yeah.
She's a lot better than I am.
It's nice to have skills. I agree.
She was playing some of the new Donkey Kong.
Oh,
because our friends Dan and Kern had it. They brought their Switch over to our house. And I was looking at it and I was like, some of this boss is very Elden Ring like, because like the boss has like a move and like has like an area of effect it would do and stuff like that, and you have to like dodge out of the way and then go in for like a quick dash and then get through and then move out of the way again. And it did remind me of Graham playing Elden Ring, and I was like, baby's first Elden Ring, let's go.
I do feel like a lot of like the Dark Souls influence on what's been happening in the industry since that game came out, like just the slow grow of all that and all the associated games, that it's like I have a feeling that that's had a massive effect on how people consider how a boss fight should work. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it goes back even further than that.
Do you see any Souls influence on Silksong?
For the fact, in the same way that if you're in the same way as it was in Hollow Knight, right? They both had this idea of like, if you die, you drop everything, and then you have to go back to that same place and hit a thing and recover all of that. And then also the fact that, the bosses are fucking punishing because you have maybe 5 hit points, and healing is not I drink a potion and I'm healed. It's I have to stand still for 3 to 4 to 5 seconds.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's awful. So you have to do what you can do, and it's just filling the room with crap. And it took me, I think, like 40 minutes to beat Widow, for anybody who knows what that is in Silksong, and that was a rough fight for me. So yeah.
Hey, you know what's also rough out there? YouTube changing all of their stuff. So YouTube just did this thing, and I'm sure that some sort of AI video or filter that they've put on that you have to like turn off mature. Like there's like a thing where it's like, please show me mature content. It opts you out of mature content by default. But the thing is, I don't think it understands if we mention like dying in a boss fight or like killing an enemy in a video game is not the same as killing someone in real life. And a lot of Magic gameplay videos, and I'm sure video game videos, have been hit by this. So a lot of content creators have been seeing their views just like drop by a third.
That's miserable.
So, and it is really great. You're going to opt in per channel.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, it's really designed to make things hard. And meanwhile, AI slop can get just turned out on this platform, and they don't do anything about it.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of like views and other stuff have been dropping for people, and I don't know the extent to any of that.
No,
but
I think every channel is affected slightly differently. But if you are in your YouTube settings, please make sure that not just for this channel, but obviously I'd appreciate it if you did it for this channel, but other channels you might be subscribed to as well. Make sure that you get mature content, and then you will see things like video game reviews and probably stuff talking about Magic the Gathering and any other interest that you have. Definitely Jeff Jarrett's guitar smashing would be considered probably mature content.
Yeah.
Those guitars are very dead after he's done with them.
Yeah, but putting a hot dog in a fish tank, I guess technically it's a hot dog tank at that point, is decidedly immature. So I think that's probably complete. It depends on what you decide is absurdist comedy. We survive based on all that absurdist comedy because you pay for it on the Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. And everybody now is doing so many call to actions for that because it's just like, hey, we might not have YouTube ad revenue, which is meager at best, coming in. So definitely, if you have not joined the Patreon, or if you forgot to pay in a little while or whatever, please jump into the Patreon. We would love to see you back there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. If you're a supporter of this YouTube channel, you're going to see your name come up in a second. But even if you're not, we appreciate everybody who's watching and joining us for our takes on all of the most important things happening in video game news, RIP and IRL horse, and Bija's online gamer profile.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Blah, 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 blah.